Let every noise be still. Who is it in the press that calls on me? Mark Antony.
Caesar, my lord.
Huh? Who calls? Speak! Caesar is turned to hear. Beware the Ides of March. What man is that?
A soothsayer bids you beware the Ides of March.
Let him before me. Let me see his face.
Come from the throng!
He is a dreamer. Let us leave him.
Pass!
Will you go to see the order of the course?
Not I.
I pray you do.
I am not gamesome. I do lack some part of that quick spirit that is in Antony.
Brutus, I do observe you now of late. I have not from your eyes that gentleness and show of love that I was wont to have.
Cassius, be not deceived. If I have veiled my look, I turn the trouble of my countenance merely upon myself. Vexed I am of late with passions of some difference, conceptions only proper to myself, which give some soil perhaps to my behaviors.
Tell me, good Brutus, can you see your face?
No, Cassius, for the eye sees not itself but by reflection, by some other thing.
'Tis just. And it is very much lamented, Brutus, that you have no such mirrors as will turn your hidden worthiness into your eyes that you might see your shadow. I have heard where many of the best respect in Rome, except immortal Caesar, speaking of Brutus and groaning underneath this age's yoke, have wished that noble Brutus had his eyes.
Into what dangers would you lead me, Cassius? That you would have me seek into myself for that which is not in me.
Therefore, good Brutus, be prepared to hear. I cannot tell what you and other men may think of this life, but for my single self, I had as lief not be as live to be in awe of such a thing as I myself. I was born free as Caesar, so were you. We both have fed as well. We can both endure the winter's cold as well as he. For once, upon a raw and gusty day, the troubled Tiber chafing with her shores, Caesar said to me, "Darest thou, Cassius, now leap in with me into this angry flood and swim to yonder point?" Upon the word, accoutred as I was, I plunged in and bade him follow. And so indeed he did. The torrent roared, and we did buffet it with lusty sinews, throwing it aside and stemming it with hearts of controversy. But ere we could arrive the point proposed, Caesar cried, "Help me, Cassius, or I sink." I, as Aeneas, our great ancestor, did from the flames of Troy upon his shoulder the old Anchises bear, so from the waves of Tiber did I the tired Caesar. And this man is now become a god, and we, petty men, walk under his huge legs and peep about to find ourselves dishonorable graves. Men at some time are masters of their fates. The fault, dear Brutus, is not in our stars, but in ourselves that we are underlings. Casca.
Did you speak with me?
Aye, Casca. Tell us what hath chanced today.
Why, there was a crown offered Caesar, and being offered him, he put it by with the back of his hand, thus. Then the people fell a-shouting.
Who offered him the crown?
Why, Antony.
Tell us the manner of it.
I can as well be hanged as tell the manner of it. I saw Mark Antony offer him a crown, and as I told you, he put it by once. But for all that, to my thinking, he would fain have had it. Then he offered it again, then he put it by again. Then he offered it the third time, and he put it the third time by. And still as he refused it, the rabblement hooted and clapped their chopped hands, and uttered such a deal of stinking breath because Caesar refused the crown that it almost choked Caesar, for he swooned and fell down at it. For mine own part, I durst not laugh for fear of opening my lips and receiving the bad air.
What said he when he came unto himself?
He said, if he had done or said anything amiss, he desired them to think it was his infirmity. 3 or 4 wenches where I stood cried, alas, good soul, and forgave him with all their hearts. But there's no heed to be taken of them. If Caesar had stabbed their mothers, they would have done no less.
Did Cicero say anything?
Aye, he spoke Greek.
To what effect?
Those that understood him smiled at one another and shook their heads. But for mine own part, it was Greek to me. There was more foolery yet, if I could remember it.
And so it is. For this time I will leave you. What you've said I will consider. What you have to say I will with patience hear, and find a time both meet to hear and answer such high things. Till then, my noble friend, chew upon this. Brutus had rather be a villager than to repute himself a son of Rome under these hard conditions, as this time is like to lay upon us. Farewell, both.
Well, Brutus, thou art noble. Yet I see thy honorable metal may be wrought from that it is disposed.
Therefore it is meet that noble minds keep ever with their likes. For who so firm that cannot be seduced?
If I were Brutus now and he were Cassius, he should not humor me. I will this night, in several hands, in at his windows throw, as if they came from several citizens' writings, all tending to the great opinion that Rome holds of his name, wherein obscurely Caesar's ambition shall be glanced at. And after this, let Caesar seat him sure, for we will shake him, or worse days endure.
Mark Antony. Caesar, let me have men about me that are fat, sleek-headed men, and such as sleep o' nights. Yon Cassius has a lean and hungry look. Such men as he are never at heart's ease whilst they behold a greater than themselves, and therefore are they very dangerous.
Oh, fear him not, Caesar. He's not dangerous.
I rather tell thee what is to be feared than what I fear. For always, I am Caesar.
Count the clock.
'Tis time to pass.
Shall no man else be touched, but only Caesar?
Decius well urged. I think it is not meet Mark Antony, so well beloved of Caesar, should outlive Caesar.
Our course will seem too bloody, Caius Cassius. To cut the head off and then hack the limbs. For Antony is but a limb of Caesar. Let us be sacrificers, but not butchers, Caius. We all stand up against the spirit of Caesar, and in the spirit of men, there is no blood. Oh, that we could come by Caesar's spirit, and not dismember Caesar. But alas, Caesar must bleed for it. And gentle friends, let's kill him boldly, but not wrathfully. Let's carve him as a dish fit for the gods, not hew him as a carcass fit for hounds.
The morning comes upon us. We leave you, Brutus.
Give me our hands all over, one by one.
And let us swear our resolution.
No, not an oath. If not the face of men, the sufferance of our souls, the time's abuse, if these be motives weak, Break off betimes, and every man hence to his idle bed. So let high-sighted tyranny range on, till each man drop by lottery. But if these, as I'm sure they do, bear fire enough to kindle cowards, and to steal with valor the melting spirits of women, then, countrymen, what need we any spur but our own cause to prick us to redress? What other bond than secret Romans that have spoke the word and will not falter? And what other oath than honesty, to honesty engaged, that this shall be, or we will fall for it.
The Ides of March are come.
Castor, be sudden. We fear prevention.
Beat hands for me!
Et tu, Brute? Then fall, Caesar. Liberty.
Freedom!
Liberty is dead!
Run hence, proclaim, cry about the streets!
Peace! Freedom!
Over the pulpit, Brutus, Cassius too.
Liberty is dead! Freedom! Liberty!
How many ages hence shall this our lofty scene be acted over, in state unborn and accents yet unknown? How many times shall Caesar bleed in sport, but now on Pompey's basis lies alone, no worthier than the dust?
So oft as that shall be, so often shall the not of us be called the men that gave their country liberty.
What shall we for?
Aye, every man away. Brutus shall lead.
Here comes Mark Antony.
Welcome, Mark Antony.
I know not, gentlemen, what you intend. Who else must be let blood? Who else is rank? If I myself, there is no hour so fit. I do beseech you, if you bear me hard, now whilst your purple hands do reek and smoke, fulfill your pleasure. Live 1,000 years, I shall not find myself so apt to die, as here by Caesar and by you cut off, the choice and master spirits of this age.
Oh, Antony, beg not your death of us.
What compact mean you to have with us? Will you be pricked in the number of our friends?
Friends am I with you all, and love you all, and am moreover suitor, that I may produce his body in the marketplace, and in the pulpit, as becomes a friend, speak in the order of his funeral.
You shall, Mark Antony.
Be it so. I do desire no more.
Prepare the body, then. Follow us.
Almighty Caesar, dost thou lie so low? Are all thy conquests, glories, triumphs, spoils, shrunk to this little measure? Oh, pardon me, thou bleeding piece of earth, that I am meek and gentle with these butchers. Thou art the ruins of the noblest man that ever lived in the tide of times. Woe to the hand that shed this costly blood. Over thy wounds now do I prophesy. A curse shall light upon the limbs of men. Domestic fury and fierce civil strife shall cumber all the parts of Italy. Blood and destruction shall be so in use, and dreadful objects so familiar, that mothers shall but smile when they behold their infants quartered with the hands of war. And Caesar's spirit, ranging for revenge, with Arte by his side come hot from hell, shall in these confines, with a monarch's voice, cry havoc, and let slip the dogs of war.
Noble Brutus is ascended.
Romans, countrymen, lovers, hear me for my cause, and be silent that you may hear. Believe me for mine honor, and have respect to mine honor that you may believe. Censure me in your wisdom and awaken your senses, that you may the better judge. If there be any in this assembly, any dear friend of Caesar's, to him I say that Brutus's love to Caesar was no less than his. If then that friend demand why Brutus rose against Caesar, this is my answer. Not that I loved Caesar less, but that I loved Rome more. Had you rather Caesar were living and die all slaves, than that Caesar were dead and live all free men? As Caesar loved me, I weep for him. As he was fortunate, I rejoice at it. As he was valiant, I honor him. But as he was ambitious, I slew him. There is tears for his love, joy for his fortune, honor for his valor, and death for his ambition. Who is here so base that would be a bondman? If any speak, for him have I offended. Who is here so rude that would not be a Roman? If any speak, for him have I offended. Who is here so vile that would not love his country? If any speak, for him have I offended. I pause for a reply.
None, Brutus!
Then none have I offended. I have done no more to Caesar than you shall do to Brutus. Good countrymen, let me depart alone, and for my sake, stay here with Antony. Do grace to Caesar's corpse, and grace his speech. With this I depart, but as I slew my best lover for the good of Rome, I have the same dagger for myself, when it shall please my country to need my death.
For Brutus' sake, I am beholding to you.
What does he say of Brutus? He says for Brutus' sake, he speaks no harm of Brutus. We are tyrants!
Gentle Romans, friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears. I come to bury Caesar, not to praise him. The evil that men do lives after them. The good is oft interred with their bones. So let it be with Caesar. The noble Brutus hath told you Caesar was ambitious, and it was so, it was a grievous fault. And grievously hath Caesar answered it. Here, under leave of Brutus and the rest, for Brutus is an honorable man, so are they all honorable men, come I to speak in Caesar's funeral. He was my friend, faithful and just to me, but Brutus says he was ambitious, and Brutus is an honorable man. He hath brought many captives home to Rome, whose ransoms did the general coffers fill. Did this in Caesar seem ambition, when that the poor have cried, Caesar hath wept? Ambition should be made of sterner stuff. But Brutus says he was ambitious, and Brutus is an honorable man. You all did see that on the Lupercal I thrice presented him a kingly crown, which he did thrice refuse. Was this ambition? Yet Brutus says he was ambitious. And sure, he is an honorable man. I speak not to disprove what Brutus spoke, but here I am to say what I do know. You all did love him once, not without cause. What cause withholds you then to mourn for him? Oh, judgment, thou art fled to brutish beasts, and men have lost their reason. Bear with me. My heart is in the coffin there with Caesar, and I must pause till it come back.
There is much reason in it. I fear there were the worst come in this place. He would not take the crown. He would not take the crown, or it is certain he was not to be found, so some will deride.
But yesterday the word of Caesar might have stood against the world. Now lies he there, and none so poor to do him reverence. Oh, masters, if I were disposed to stir your hearts and minds to mutiny and rage, I should do Brutus wrong and Cassius wrong, who, you all know, are honorable men. I will not do them wrong. I rather choose to wrong the dead, to wrong myself,
and you, then I will wrong such honorable men. But here's a parchment with the seal of Caesar. I found it in his closet. 'Tis his will. Let but the commons hear this testament, which, pardon me, I do not mean to read, and they would go and kiss dead Caesar's wounds and dip their napkins in his sacred blood, yea, beg a hair of him for memory, and dying mention it within their wills, bequeathing it as a rich legacy unto their issue. Patience, gentle friends, I must not read it. It is not meet to know how Caesar loved you. You are not wood, you are not stones, but men. And being men, hearing the will of Caesar, it would inflame you, it would make you mad. 'Tis good you know not that you are his heirs. For if you should, oh, what would come of it?
We will hear Caesar's will.
Will you be patient?
Read it, Mark Antony.
Will you stay a while? I have outshot myself to tell you of it. I fear I wrong the honorable men whose daggers have stabbed Caesar. I do fear it.
Read us the will.
You will compel me then to read the will.
Yes.
Then make a ring about the corpse of Caesar, and let me show you him that made the will. Shall I descend? Will you give me leave? Come down.
Descend.
If you have tears, prepare to shed them now. You all do know this mantle. I remember the first time ever Caesar put it on. It was on a summer's evening in his tent. That day he overcame the Nervii. Look, in this place ran Cassius' dagger through. See what a rent the envious Casca made. Through this, the well-beloved Brutus stabbed, and as he plucked his cursed steel away, mark how the blood of Caesar followed it as rushing out of doors to be resolved if Brutus saw and kindly knocked or no. For Brutus, as you know, was Caesar's angel. Judge, O ye gods, how dearly Caesar loved him. This was the most unkindest cut of all. For when the noble Caesar saw him stabbed, ingratitude, more strong than traitor's arms, quite vanquished him. Then burst his mighty heart. And in his mantle, muffling up his face, even at the base of Pompey's statue, which all the while ran blood, great Caesar fell. Oh, what a fall was there, my countrymen. Then I, and you, and all of us fell down, whilst bloody treason flourished over us. Oh, now you weep, and I perceive you feel the dint of pity. These are gracious drops. Kind souls, what? Weep you when you but behold our Caesar's vesture wounded? Look you here! Here is himself, marred as you see, with traitors! Good friends, sweet friends! Let me not stir you up to such a sudden flood of mutiny. I come not, friends, to steal away your hearts. I am no orator, as Brutus is, but were I Brutus and Brutus Antony, there would an Antony would ruffle up your spirits and put a tongue in every wound of Caesar that should move the stones of Rome to rise and mutiny.
We'll mutiny.
We'll burn the house of Brutus. Go fetch fire.
Cut down benches.
Window.
Why, friends, you go to do you know not what. Wherein hath Caesar thus deserved your love? Alas, you know not. I must tell you then. You have forgot the will I told you of.
The will?
Yes, the will. And under Caesar's seal, he gives to every several man, to every Roman citizen, 75 drachmas. He had left all his walks, his private arbors, and new planted orchards on this high Tiber. He has left them you and your heirs forever. Common pleasures to walk abroad and recreate yourselves. Here was a Caesar. When comes such another? Now let it work. Mischief, thou art afoot. Take thou what course thou wilt.
brother, you've done me wrong.
Wrong I mine enemies. And if not so, how should I wrong a brother?
Brutus, this sober form of yours hides wrongs. And when you do them...
Cassius, be content. Speak your grief softly, I do know you well.
Pindarus, bid our commanders lead their charges up a little from this ground.
Lucilius, do the like.
That you have wronged me doth appear in this. You have condemned and noted Lucius Pella for taking bribes here of the Sardians, wherein my letters praying on his side because I knew the man was slighted off.
You wronged yourself to write in such a case.
In such a time as this, it is not meet that every nice offense should bear his comment.
Let me tell you, Cassius, you yourself are much condemned to have an itching palm, to sell and march your officers for gold, to undeservers.
Aye, an itching palm. You know that you're Brutus that speaks this, or by the gods this speech were else your last.
The name of Cassius honors this corruption and chastisement, that therefore hide his head.
Chastisement?
Remember March! The Ides of March, remember! Did not great Julius bleed for justice' sake? What villain touched his body that did stab, and not for justice? What? Shall one of us that struck the foremost man of all this world, but for supporting robbers, shall we now contaminate our fingers with base bribes, and sell the mighty space of our large honors for so much trash as may be grasped thus? I had rather be a dog and bay the moon than such a Roman.
Brutus, bay not me, I'll not endure it. You forget yourself to hedge me in. I am a soldier, older in practice, abler than yourself to make conditions.
Go to, you are not.
I am.
I say you are not.
Urge me no more, I shall forget myself. Tempt me no farther.
Away, slight man.
Is possible, must I endure all this?
I more. Fret till your proud heart break. Must I observe you? Must I stand and crouch under your testy humor? By the gods, you shall digest the venom of your spleen, though it do split you. For from this day forth I'll use you for my mirth, yea, for my laughter. When you are waspish,
Does it come to this?
You say you are a better soldier. Let it appear so. Make your vaunting true, and it will please me well. For my part, I shall be glad to learn of abler men.
You wrong me every way. You wrong me, Brutus. I said an elder soldier, not a better. Did I say better?
If you did, I cannot.
When Caesar lived, he durst not thus have moved me.
Peace, peace. You durst not so have tempted him.
I durst not.
No.
What durst not tempt him?
On your life, you durst not.
Do not presume too much upon my love. I may do that I shall be sorry for.
You have done that. You should be sorry for. There is no terror, Cassius, in your threats. For I am armed so strong in honesty that they pass me by as the idle wind, which I respect not. I did send to you for certain sums of gold, which you denied me. For I can raise no money by vile means. By heaven, I'd rather coin my heart and drop my blood for drachmas than to wring from the hard hands of peasants their vile trash by any indirection. I did send to you for gold to pay my legions, which you denied me. Was that done like Cassius?
I denied you not.
You did.
I did not. He was but a fool that brought my answer back. Brutus hath rived my heart. A friend should bear his friend's infirmities, but Brutus makes mine greater than they are.
I do not till you practice them on me.
You love me not.
I do not like your faults.
A friendly eye could never see such faults.
A flatterer's would not, though he did appear as huge as high Olympus.
Come, Antony and young Octavius, come. Revenge yourselves alone on Cassius. For Cassius is aweary of the world. Hated by one he loves. Braved by his brother, checked like a bondman. All his faults observed, set in a notebook, learned and conned by rote to cast into my teeth. Oh, I could weep my spirit from mine eyes. There's my dagger. I that denied thee gold will give my heart. Strike as thou didst at Caesar! For I know when thou didst hate him worst, thou lovest him better than ever thou lovest Cassius.
Sheathe your dagger. Be angry when you will. It shall have scope. Do what you will. Dishonor shall be humor.
Had Cassius lived to be but mirth and laughter to his Brutus, when grief and blood ill-tempered vexeth him?
When I spoke that, I was ill-tempered too.
You confess so much. Give me your hand.
And my heart too.
I did not think you could have been so angry.
Oh, Cassius, I am sick of many griefs.
Of your philosophy you make no use. You give place to accidental evils.
Portia is dead.
Portia?
She is dead.
Upon what sickness?
Impatient of my absence. And grief that young Octavius with Mark Antony have made themselves so strong. For with her death that tidings came. With this she fell distract.
And died so?
Even so. The deep of night is crept upon our talk. There's no more to say.
No more. Good night. Early tomorrow will we rise and hence. Good night, my lord.
Good night, good brother.
Now, most noble Brutus, if we do lose this battle, then is this the very last time that we shall speak together? You are contented to be led in triumph through the streets of Rome?
No, Cassius. No. Think not thou, noble Roman, that ever Brutus will go bound to Rome. He bears too great a mind. But this same day must end that work, the Ides of March begun. And whether we shall meet again, I know not. Therefore, our everlasting farewell take. Forever and forever farewell, Cassius. If we do meet again, why, we shall smile. If not, why then this parting was well made.
Forever and forever farewell, Brutus. If we do meet again, we'll smile indeed. If not, it is true this parting was well made.
Why then lead on? Oh, that a man might know the end of this day's business ere it come. But it sufficeth that the day will end. And then the end is known. Come ho! Away!
Oh, Cassius! Brutus gave the word too early, who, having some advantage on Octavius, took it too eagerly. His soldiers fell to spoil, whilst we by Antony are all enclosed.
This day I breathe it first. Time is come round. And where I did begin, there shall I end. My life is run his compass. Come hither, Sirrah, And with this good sword that ran through Caesar's bowels, search this bosom. Stand not to answer. Here, take thou the hilts. And when my face is covered, as it is now, guide thou the sword. Caesar, thou art revenged, even with the sword that killed thee.
Where must our Lord of his body lie?
Lo, yonder, his slave.
The last of all the Romans. Fare thee well. It is impossible that ever Rome should breed thy fellow. Friends, I owe more tears to this dead man than you shall see me pay. I shall find time, Cassius. I shall find time.
Julius Caesar.
Thou art mighty yet. Thy spirit walks abroad and turns our swords in our own proper entrails.
My brother off, my lord! My brother off!
Statilius sold the torchlight, but my lord, he came not back. He is or ta'en or slain.
Slaying is the word. It is a deed in fashion. Come hither, good Volumnius. List a word.
What says my lord?
Why, this, Volumnius. The ghost of Caesar hath appeared to me several times by night. At Sardis once, and this last night, here in Philippi fields. I know my hour is come.
Not so, my lord.
Nay. I am sure it is, Volumnius. Thou knowest that we two went to school together. Even for that our love of old. I pray thee, hold thou my sword hilts, whilst I run on it.
That's not an office for a friend, my lord.
Why?
Why, my
There's
lord?
no tarrying here.
Farewell to you, and you, and you, Volumnius. Strato, thou hast been all this while asleep. Farewell to thee too, Strato. Countrymen, my heart doth joy that yet in all my life I found no man but he was true to me. I shall have glory by this losing day, more than Octavius and Mark Antony by this vile conquest shall attain unto. So fare you well at once, for Brutus' tongue hath almost ended his life's history. Night hangs upon mine eyes. My bones would rest that have but labored to attain this hour.
Fly, my lord, fly!
Hence I will follow. I prithee, Strato, stay thou by thy lord. Thou art a fellow of a good respect. Thy life hath had some match of honor in it. Hold then my sword, and turn away thy face, while I do run upon it. Wilt thou, Strato?
Give me your hand first. Fare you well, my lord.
Farewell, good Strato. Caesar, now be still. I kill not thee with half so good a will.
So Brutus should be found. This was the noblest Roman of them all. All the conspirators, save only he, did that they did in envy of great Caesar. He only in a general honest thought and common good to all made one of them. His life was gentle, and the elements so mixed in him that nature might stand up and say to all the world, this was a man.